Good morning, Soul Fam. I'm sat in my sunroom conservatory with the beautiful sun just right above me, having my morning coffee. I'm having one of those mornings where you wake up and you're like pillow face, puffy and so tired, but also so much going on, like so much to be grateful for. The views, I'm just sitting here like there's huge oak trees and willow trees and pine trees, and I've just dropped the kids off at school and I've been feeling quite emotional. Yesterday I found a book that I wrote it was published in 2013 with Kindle Publishings. It's actually not, I don't know why I need to republish it, because it's actually not live, but it's still on my Kindle library. So I've been thinking about this book because it was the beginning of me starting to see physical angels. I mean, I always felt their presence, or I saw them as orbs. But in 2011, ironically, when my youngest daughter was born, Michael arrived in physical form and started visiting me, and hasn't left since, him and Gabriel. But I'd forgotten the contents of this book, and something was kind of asking me to go and revisit it and go and look at it and read it. So yesterday I spent the day reading my book, and I was in such a different mental space then, but everything that was being written in the book, or had been written in the book, everything, all the experiences that the angels took me through, all the things they told me would happen, all the things they told me about my purpose and my gift, I'm in now. And it got me like so emotional, because at the time that I was writing that, I had no clue as to what was to come. And there's even sentences in there where God says, Rebecca, why do you get so impatient and think things are slow? Just wait in my time. There is so much more to come. And I look about like what's happened in the last 13 years, and everything that was kind of alluded to in that book, I've seen, and it gave me such a strange sense of, oh, so the things that I've heard in the period in between the then and the now are going to happen. And it's kind of mind-blowing, and also, I don't know, it's done something to me. So there's parts of this book, it was kind of me debunking and leaving the church and my disappointment. At the time that I wrote the book, I was attending a church. I had been attending church my whole life. And it was funny rereading it, like my thought process, the fact that I was meant to be there in order to debunk and pull apart the truth of not religion, but of Christ, of our source, of our essence, of where we come from. And I'd forgotten how my belief system was at that time, and how narrow-minded in a way it was, but my soul knew, no, this isn't right, there's more to this. And so it was a whole process of me leaving, but also at the same time, parallel to that, experiencing these experiences with the angels. They took me to Jerusalem. They showed me all the interventions that they did with people to save their lives. They showed me how they diverted people's paths. They showed me how they rescued people. They showed me how they brought purpose. And they were doing it for me. Like, I was spending this time with these angels on these adventures. That's the only way I can describe it. And they were clothing me. They gave me my clothes, like this cloak that I didn't want to wear because I didn't feel ready for it. And they were saying, one day you'll wear this cloak, and you'll know it was a cloak of purpose, and it was a cloak of my gifts and my passion. And at the time, I was saying in the visions, oh, I'm not ready to wear this. And I look back, I'm like, no, you weren't. Mentally, you weren't ready. You hadn't broken down and deconstructed all your belief systems that needed to be broken down before you could come forth with the truth of your soul. And I would have struggled back then doing what I do now and how I perceive things. And I'm sure there's more, like breaking through the veil layer after layer. It was so small compared to where I feel now, and yet I have this sense that there's so much more. But in this book, there were so many beautiful moments. It was like reading a book that I hadn't written. I'd forgotten so much of what I'd said and my experiences. I was taken up into heaven, and I was shown living waters, these realms, these streams of consciousness that I was connecting to. I was taken into a cave where it was full of treasure, and I instinctively knew that I had this red ruby which represented wisdom, and it was mine, it was my gift, it was my treasure. And yet there was all this treasure in this cave, and I was saying, why is it hidden? Surely if this ruby belongs to me and I instinctively know it's mine, these gifts must belong to other people. Why are they not using them? Why are they hidden? Why? And Spirit was saying, because you're going to help people activate and to remember their gifts. You're going to bring a sense of activation and remind people that these gifts are waiting for them. They mustn't stay in an old cave, hidden from humanity, hidden from like life. Like, people need to be using their gifts. People need to wake up and come and find them, and or know that they're already within them. It was all very much about the alchemist. Everything that you looked for and you've been searching for is within you. It always has been. You're never lost. You've never been lost. And then I realized, back in the day, it was the Christian way of thing is that you have to save people from something. You have to save them from hell. And I was breaking through all these concepts that, no, I'm not saving people from anything. I'm just reminding them who they always have been and always will be. Like, just to remove away all the things that prevent us from of knowing who we are and how loved we are. And I met the face of God many times, and all I ever found in his eyes was me, and I in him, and this eternal, unconditional love that makes me weak just thinking about it. And yet we're taught that we're so unloved and so unworthy. My daughter's up. So yeah, this book was like, it really stirred me, because it reminded me that how far I've come in terms of my perceptions and my beliefs, but also what was stirring and what was beginning then. Spirit was saying, you're going to be in a place where everyone can see you, and you just have to be transparent, and you have to be like a flame that is in the wind, and the flame dances where the wind goes, and you're going to dance, and people are going to see the presence of Spirit in the way that you dance and the way that you move and the way you speak. And God met me and was pulling this rainbow ribbons. There was always rainbows. I climbed a mountain, I was wearing a rainbow dress. He was pulling rainbow ribbons. It's like all the chakras lit up. It's the promises. It's that elevated all of the chakras. And saying to me, I had to blinker myself to the path. Don't look left or right. Don't look what everyone else is doing. Don't be worried when people come at you saying, oh, that's not very Christian of you. Or, no, it's not in the belief system structure that you believe it should be. But I am connected to Christ and his love, and there's so much more. But yeah, in this, God was pulling all these rainbow things out of me, saying, you're going to write books, you're going to sing songs, people are going to be knowing of your music, people are going to read your books. I hadn't done any of that stuff at that time. And here I am, like, creating all this music and speaking. I never spoke publicly. I never did videos. People didn't know who I was. And all the things that were in the book were alluding to some of the experiences that I'm in now, and yet I know there's more. And yeah, today is a day of kind of reflection, because it feels like many chapters are closing whilst big chapters are opening, and this pause of taking stock before the next phase. But I'm filled with deep gratitude and love for everyone that I've come across and everyone that I speak to. And I just encourage you to believe in yourself, believe in your heart's desires, because that is the blueprint of your soul. I love you today.